Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the BB-Scho. I'm your host, Peeps. We're here for the Super Bowl preview podcast. That's all we got on the docket today. It's a big deal, man. We've been waiting here all year. I'm here. I'm joined by Chen. Before we dive into that, though, we will be doing Fantasy Frenzy today as well. Before we get into any of it, how you doing today, man?
Well, before we get into how I'm doing today, how are you doing today, man?
he pulled the Uno reverse
Uno
card.
reverse.
Uno reverse card. I'm doing good. It's been a wild day. And we'll talk about it next week with the Woj and the Shams bombs have been popping off like crazy today. Today is the trade deadline, and man, the NBA GMs remind me of myself growing up in high school because they don't do any work until the last minute.
It's
Uh,
crazy. It's actually criminal.
yeah.
Like these guys get paid millions of dollars to essentially be just like us.
Well, and I don't get
Like,
like what is the difference between now and like 4 days ago? Like, did you really learn anything new about the players you still had on your roster or the players that you're trading for? Like, it changes absolutely nothing.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, obviously we're gonna talk about it, but let's just say some of those trades looked like automated 2K trades. Like I had no
Yeah.
idea what the Raptors were doing. That first comes to mind, but no, we'll pay it back because obviously
I
it's
can't
Super Bowl
even,
week.
you mentioned the Raptors. I can't even, like, I saw so many things. I don't even know what you're talking
Oh, they just made a win now move, and the team is 11th in the East.
about. Yeah.
And their win now move was Jakob Pertl. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I saw
yeah, I don't
that.
know why you trade picks for that
Also,
guy,
there was a
but
random obsession with second round picks this trade deadline. This isn't the NFL. I don't know why they're so valuable all of a sudden. But I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
we can talk
that's
about it next week. Let's get into the Super Bowl.
right, right.
And you know what? We can run it back and we can talk a little bit about championship weekend in terms of who we picked. So for those who forgot, we split the weekend games. You had the Chiefs correct, and I had the Eagles correct, which means that somehow after I don't even want to know how many total games, whatever 169 plus 114 is, 285 or no 283,
283.
283
Yeah.
games. We are tied with both 169 correct picks and 114 wrong, which I find utterly mathematically one of the greatest things I've ever seen. I don't even want to know what the odds are on that. I really don't. I don't know if there's a way you could even put that, even figure out what the odds were, because there was a lot of picks that were. It wasn't just random chance that we were,
No,
selecting
yeah.
these
We
teams.
got this lucky. I mean, on any parlay, I'm
It's,
never working again. I'm never
yeah,
working again with
yeah.
those type of odds, man. It's just
That's
unreal.
yeah. That's where our luck goes, and not not when we
Right.
actually make a parlay.
Stupid. Yeah. Luck goes into stupid things like Madden and this.
Yeah,
It's money and real things. No, never.
yeah,
That's okay.
yeah.
It's all
So
good,
with
man.
that being said, I'll give you the table: Chiefs versus Eagles, Super Bowl 57 in Phoenix on Sunday. Who you got?
I mean, it's the Chiefs, right? I'm gonna
Well, I
roll with
mean,
my
I knew
team.
that, but I was
You're
going to
gonna
give you
roll
a
with your
chance to like
team.
present the whole
Yeah,
argument.
but I mean, if anyone that's been carrying over from week to week, there's no way we can die on this hill together. And quite frankly, I never wanted to anyway. I've never thought Philly was the better team. That's from my honest opinion. It's Patrick Mahomes making things happen. I think he's been the most valuable player on the field. It is just really a matter if they can stop the pass rush and learn from their mistakes from the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Granted, the Eagles' pass rush is way. I'm not
No,
gonna
I
be
think
like
it's I
way
think it's
better than the
better.
Buccaneers, but it's totally better. Yeah, I don't want to go like above and beyond because the unit was impressive that the Buccaneers had, but this Eagles one is historic. I understand the additional game, but as a team, they're averaging like 4 sacks a game. I mean, that's given the amount of factors with weather and stuff. That's just a very crazy feat. I believe Hassan Reddick had 16 sacks. Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox, I think both had like 11 or 12. Like this team is just stacked in terms of their front seven. So it's definitely a concern. But after that Super Bowl, the Chiefs went out and got Orlando Brown. Like they had no tackles for that Super Bowl. This is definitely going to be a different animal. It's just really just going to be a matter of, are the Chiefs going to do Chiefs things? Is Andy Reid going to outcoach Sirianni? Their defense, I do believe, is underrated. I mean, they held the Bengals to 20. Yeah, there's a lot of asterisks last week, but they did hold them to 20. And it's not as good as Philly's defense. I'm not going to contest that. But like I've been saying really all year, the Chiefs are a team that if you get out in like if they get out in front of the Eagles, it's going to be very hard for I think the Eagles to catch them with how run heavy they are. And the past 4 games Hurts has played, I know it's been spaced out. I believe man has 2 or 3 touchdowns to 4 picks, like over those 4 games. And I understand the rushing number is a factor, but like he has not proven himself as a passer in like over a month. I understand obviously still like throwing the ball or whatever, but I'm just not sold that he's going to come in and throw for 300, even 250 yards. And that may not be enough to get it done. That's just my kind of 2 cents. This team didn't need to go crazy, pull out a lot of stops against 49ers. We know what happened with that last week. So I think this is going to be their biggest test of the year. And I don't know, man. I'm just going with the more experienced group. We got Reid and Mahomes. It's classic as it gets. And I'll, give you the floor with, your Philly team. I understand it's the odd thing. They got the best record in the NFL. They got a quarterback that is really on a Lamar Jackson trajectory. I'm not going to say Cam Newton because honestly, his career path was a little overrated.
Thank
But
God
yeah.
somebody. I can't stand the Cam
I
Newton.
have to say it, man. He had the one good like run in 50, like Super Bowl 50, and everything else was like good.
Yeah,
But he was never this like elite talent. That yeah,
well, I think
I
what he
see what you're
did that
saying.
year was incredible. Taking that team
It
to
was
8 wins
special. It was.
without a receiver on the roster. I'm pretty sure, but we're off topic.
No, hey, you played in the Super Bowl week.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That's true.
And all right, my last thing. Remember when the Eagles play against Patriots? It was 41-33. I
Yeah,
think this game might be similar. I'm
I
gonna
hope it is,
say
man. That was my
if
favorite Super
whatever,
Bowl. Like maybe like
yeah, whatever the spread's at for the over under, I'm taking the over on Sunday, no doubt.
yeah. I hope it's like that Super Bowl, man. Honestly, what's crazy about Super Bowl 52 is I think I enjoyed that game more than the Atlanta one. Just as a fan, it was just what's weird
It was
about the
so
Atlanta one
good.
is you cannot ask for a better game. And I feel like when like you like make a list like oh top 5 Super Bowls ever, like you have to put Atlanta on there as number one. Excuse me. I actually
Because
like the Philly one better because there was just
yeah,
1,000 yards of offense, and it was just blow for blow. Whereas Atlanta was like one team dominates for X amount of time, and then it flip flops. Um,
yeah,
so in terms of a match, a
the
tight,
back and forth.
yes, the
The
back and
back and
forth
forth is a
was much
lot better.
better. Yeah. So, and what's crazy about it is that was back to back years. So we didn't know. Well, actually, we did. Those were some good Super Bowls because they got bad very quickly after that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm picking the Eagles this week. Um, I look, they've been rolling all year. They've lost one game that Jalen Hurts has started, and that was Week 18. I see no
No,
reason
that
to
was against
like
Commanders.
yeah,
Those two.
week 18.
No, they lost to the Commanders back in like week 11 too. That's how the
Oh
team
yeah,
went to
yeah,
like
yeah,
9-1.
yeah, 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 yeah. You're right. Sorry, my apologies.
No, I was like
I knew it was one game
correction.
with Jalen Hurts, and I'm not counting week 18. But anyways, they've lost one real game all year. Their defense is immaculate. They have manufactured I don't even know how many sacks. It's a ridiculous amount of sacks this year with a bunch of guys that like are not superstar pass rushers. So they've found a way to get an elite 4-man pass rush, which has been proven to be one of the best ways to win a Super Bowl, i.e., the Giants. And they found a way to do that without having to pay these superstar Von Miller-esque talents, Aaron Donald. Like you don't have Aaron Donald and Von Miller this year on this D line. You have like Hassan Reddick and Robert Quinn. And
It's a rotation.
yeah, it's a rotation. And that is why I think they're deadly because their money is other places. That being their receivers, they're able to bring in AJ Brown, and they've got a stellar offensive line. I mean, just stellar. I think Jason Kelsey is one of the best centers of all time. I don't think he's the best, but he could win a second Super Bowl. And we don't really talk about the legacy of centers very often, but
No, he's locked it down.
I think he's incredible and he's been good for a very long time. Look, I'm rolling with the Eagles. I think their defense is what gives them the edge in this game. And look, it's just a dominance thing. When it comes down to it, I can break down certain things, and we'll get into it, go back and forth on, why we, how we think the game might go. But this team has just, you talk about them going down 14. I don't see that happening. I think you're right. If the Chiefs find a way to get up early, that's the game script they want. That doesn't happen against the Eagles, man. Their defense is too good and their run game is so good that they can get the ball 2 times and it will be halfway through the second quarter. Like that's just like that's how good this run game is. And Hurts has struggled a little bit as a passer as of late. I'm not really worried about it. I think we kind of already made our cases last week as well. But look, the main reason for me rolling with the Eagles, I think their defense gives them just an incredible edge. But like I said before, this is not like a game that I feel extremely strongly. I'm probably 65% Eagles here, if that makes sense. Like I would not be surprised if the Chiefs won this game at all. And there's a part of me that's like, I'd like to see Mahomes get to 2 rings because it's fun to see guys, stack up championships, right? But yeah.
No, I'm with you that it's gonna be a close game. There's most Super Bowls are, but there is the occasion where it's not. Seahawks Broncos directly comes to mind. Some of the 49ers Super Bowls. I will say my only pushback on the Eagles haven't been in the position. They have been down. It's against teams like the Colts, the Texans, Commanders they lost to. They've been able to fight back and win those games 17-16. And you know what? That might happen. The Chiefs jump out to 14-0 and then the game finishes 17-14 or like 20. There really hasn't been a whole lot of crazy scoring in this year's playoffs. I'd say it's pretty consistent. Most teams kind of been hovering around the 20-30 mark, but it's boy, I think just the fan in me really wants this to happen. And I am curious, this is a schematic thing for me, what they're going to do about Travis Kelce. I'm very curious with, because their front 7 is good, yes, but it's usually because you got your 4 guys you can just send every play. They got that rotation of dudes that they just pan in the dirt, 4 guys, they go. I know there's TJ Edwards is in that kind of core of like the 3, they're typical base formation linebackers. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson as well was a major trade for the Eagles that they picked him off from the Saints. It was like 2 late round picks. But Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is not close to 6'5". Any of their linebackers, they're typical 4-3 linebackers. So you like to have like an Anthony Barr guy, somebody's got speed. I don't really see it. If their best cover is TJ Edwards, I still think Travis Kelce has his way.
Well, Travis Kelce has his way against anybody. I wouldn't be shocked to see Reddick on him as well.
Really?
I mean, he's that
they
fast.
Got 16 sacks. He's fast, but
I don't think he'll be there the whole game. I think you're right that I just blanked on. You just said his name too, or Gardner Johnson. I wouldn't be shocked if he's the majority of the game. But Reddick's got the speed, man. I think that I don't know. I really there is no recipe to stopping Travis Kelce on paper.
Yeah, no, on paper it's just not there. It's basically Mahomes can't get the ball out of his hand.
Which might bode well. That's what I would say is drop 7 back and get there with 4. The recipe to beat Brady all that time ago. But the problem
Yep.
is Mahomes is way more mobile than Brady ever was. So you might have to put one in a spy and rush three. So and there's a number of things that are different there. But yeah, stopping Kelsey is um, definitely something to be worried about. I would say that. The other thing, and I'll flip this back to you. Where does the Eagles' run game? We've talked about the run game being dominant in the playoffs lately. Where does the Eagles' run game, start to be a really big talking point in this game? If they get up 7, say around halftime, and they get the ball, they drive down, take a long drive. I mean, time. Do you think time of possession is going to be the significant factor here in this game?
I think in like every major game, time of factor is important, or time of possession is important. I'm sorry, I don't know who is out there right now, literally right outside my window. Um,
What is it? Some
it,
dude?
no, dude, it's somebody trying to like shovel or something. It's like, why are we
I
doing
can't
this
hear it.
now?
So
You can't hear? Okay, nobody can hear
no,
it.
no.
Okay,
If
well
I
that's
can't hear it,
perfect
nobody can hear
because
it. But
I'm hearing it through the headphones, bro. This is loud scraping, but nonetheless, my apologies. Time of
I thought you
possession.
meant like some like creep or
Oh, dude,
something was standing
no.
outside your window.
I
And
know,
that was
I know the protocol for that, bro. Like, yeah, I can chase people up, but I think some guy's trying to do his job. I don't know. Um, yeah, it's so time of possession. Always, I think, a really huge key. Um, Eagles, if they win that, that is definitely a recipe as well. I think it's quick 3-and-outs of the Chiefs, and you're running out the quarters. The Chiefs aren't gonna have time to figure them out. Really get a game plan together. I'm sure. I think the Bills game and even like the Bengals, you see with the Chiefs, they get better as the game goes on. That's typically with like a team that is not reliant on the run and is pass heavy, scheme heavy as they are with getting guys open and their gadget plays. So I think they might need that first quarter to like really figure it out. But I'm hoping that this 2 weeks kind of gave Andy Reid some more gears, some more plays in the book. Um, I'll always say that I don't. There's times where like yeah, the team that doesn't win time of possession wins the game, but I feel like it's very rare, and especially in big games because that is something where in the NFL like defense is king, like especially come
yeah.
playoff
I
time.
mean, and
Um,
it's really cliche, but
there's
we're both gonna say like win the turnover battle and then win time of possession. You're probably gonna win the game. Like,
yeah,
it's
very at
way
at
more
this
easier said than
magnitude.
done.
Right. You can be sloppy against bad teams and still win. And that's where I think we kind of see some of these good teams. It's like, wow, they just played really bad and still pulled that out. Um, that's something you can't do in the Super Bowl. Plain and simple, both teams are going to be extremely disciplined. We know they're both well coached. This is two teams that survived the season gauntlet that is the NFL. Um, I'm just really just looking forward to the game. There's so much talk about it. Having media day back, first time since COVID, so it's been a couple of years. It's really stupid questions. Not going to
Oh my
dive completely
god.
into media day, but I'm sorry. As a reporter, how do you ask any coach? But they asked Nick Sirianni, "Is a Super Bowl a must-win game?" And he just goes, "Yeah," and that's it. Like,
It's so
did I?
bad, man.
Yeah, it wasn't even some kid like trying to like ask questions. Like it was a reporter, like somebody that was there with their Super Bowl media pass, and that's what they come up with.
It's such
Um,
a oh man.
no,
Super
it's
Bowl
bad,
media
man.
day.
Especially when I'm like working my normal job. It's like I can go and do that. I can go and do better for
I
you
could do that,
guys.
man.
Like, yeah, it's not an issue of like, oh, I can coach them.
Hey,
No, it's I
you
can
heard
go
it here first.
report.
Super Bowl 58 will be there. The BB-Scho will be there, and we will ask better questions than is this a must-win game to the head?
To before the Super Bowl. What? But yeah, it's gonna be a treat. Super Bowl commercials hopefully are gonna be good this year.
We kind of on a
I believe
lull. I feel like the past couple of years, there hasn't been anything
they just don't hit the same.
stellar. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
maybe people are
know.
just tired of ads too, but and they get released early, which is part of the problem. The good ones have been like the Breaking Bad one has been circulating on social
Yeah,
media.
I have not
So we're
seen it,
not,
so
oh,
I
okay.
have
I'm
not
not going to
seen
say
it.
anything about it. It's great, man. It's
I
great.
know it's
Especially if you,
happening, but I have not seen
oh,
it. And I actually just started Breaking Bad for the first time. So, um,
oh, you're going to be in for a treat, dude.
yeah,
Hop corners. Yeah.
don't
That's
spoil
that's
anything.
the ad. But hey, yeah, yeah, it's Super Bowl Sunday. It's upon us. It's pretty much like a holiday every year. I wish I didn't have to go to work Monday. I mean, it's just even after the Super Bowl, it's kind of like surreal. No matter like I feel
Yeah.
like what people do, it's like
Well, and
the
the
season's
other side of
over.
the Super Bowl, man, and it never hits you until the week before, the week of the Pro Bowl is the first time I ever think about it because we don't have a game, and I'm like, man, we got
This
one
is gonna
game,
stink.
we got one game left, and then I gotta wait all the way until September.
Yeah, it's not great. It's
You
not a great
see,
feeling.
you see all those TikTok edits too of like Josh Allen running out against the Rams, and then it cuts to like Rodgers at the end of the regular season with Cobb, and
Oh,
it's like, man, what happened? It went so quick.
yeah.
Um,
What?
Here we are at the
What?
Super Bowl. But all right, let me ask you this. Let's do this hypothetical first. Let's say the Chiefs win. Mahomes wins another Super Bowl MVP. Um, where's his legacy at this point? I mean, with two Super Bowls, two Super Bowl MVPs, uh, I would assume a second regular season MVP as well. Are we talking he's in the top 10 already? Top five breaking into?
I would say he's. I think some people already have him in their top five lists. I think that might be a little premature before this game.
I think it's extremely
However,
premature before this game, and we'll get into
yeah,
why in case they lose this game, because then I think there's a completely different narrative. But go ahead.
definitely. No, and I, man, if he, because we did bring it up, I believe last week, the idea of like two Super Bowl rings is
Mm-hmm.
puts you in like Brady's seven is just not, but two is that is a huge number for quarterbacks, especially amongst just classic debates for people. I am not going to be the guy that is saying that's the end all be all, but like how talented Mahomes is, like how good of a player, the things he can do, his arm talent, it's going to be very tough to take a lot away from him for a guy that's going to have, if he really gets the second one after losing Tyreek Hill, like so many people going into the season, like,
It's
oh,
a
Chiefs, like,
little.
eh,
This ring reminds me a little of assuming the Chiefs win, it reminds me a little of the Warriors last year, where it's a really big legacy booster for Steph Curry because he did it without KD again. I
mhm.
don't think it's as big for Mahomes, like because I don't think Tyreek Hill is the equivalent of Kevin Durant. Maybe if they won
But it's
next year
still
and lost Travis
huge.
Kelsey this year, but yeah, it's still
Yeah.
like okay, no, this they win because of Mahomes, not because of Hill and Kelsey.
Anything else? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And obviously, there's always credit that's going to go to the coach.
yeah.
But I brought it up with the NBA, I think, a little bit. It's with the NFL, the NBA, every league, the we talk like the bench players, whatever. The standard for players gotten better. And it's going to be harder to repeat, Super Bowl to get back to it
Well,
every
actually,
single year.
according to
To
Trent Dilfer, that's not true.
No, he said, all right, he was saying the game was easier to play,
Which
and that's fair.
actually
But saying you're
Brady
not in,
said something similar.
and they're not wrong. Like for any offense, it's just getting easier, which is what the NFL wants. Same with the NBA. Like people love points, they love scoring, they love the highlight plays. Casual fans. All
Well, no,
right,
yeah.
like
Well, no, I'm
because I
laughing
do
because I was
sometimes
thinking
love
of
like a good slugfest.
that Trent Dilfer clip that came
Oh, where you just miss a
after
wide open like Derek Mason or
yeah,
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 it's. I mean, come on,
the
like
worst quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl, starting quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl, man. I don't think it's close either.
yeah, I don't know if it's close. It really may not be close. So it's funny, yeah, hearing him talk about it. But he worded it poorly, right? Like saying you're not impressed with Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Like I'm still impressed with both of those guys. Like
But yeah,
it's
especially the fact that you could like argue like and people have done this, and we've alluded to it when it comes to like what Brady's done has been extremely impressive, but like nothing he does like leaps off the page. He just has been a product of great defenses and stuff and being in good
Brady?
situations. Well, people, I feel like you can make that case where it's like he's not this uber impressively talented player, and his leadership is more
Okay.
so what's impressive. Rodgers is like the
Physical
guy
tools.
where
Yeah.
drops back and he throws a ball and it's the prettiest release, quickest release, prettiest throw, prettiest ball, goes the farthest, gets there the fastest, tightest spiral you've ever seen. Like he's the talent. He's like the KD of the era where it's like he's just this incredible talent who does not win as much, but like he's
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah,
he
you can
throws a
recognize the
football.
greatness.
Yeah, he throws a football and you're like, holy crap, right? Where it's like, so to say you're unimpressed by that, I mean, this is the guy that threw the ball 70 yards leaning backwards. And that's not just because I'm a Packers fan. I would say
Reality. Yeah.
Mahomes does impressive crap on the field all the time, right? Where he's no look passes and all this stuff. Um, so yeah, you're right. He worded it wrong. That's a good way of saying it.
Yeah. Can't say you're not impressed with way better quarterbacks than you.
Yeah.
Just gonna be honest, and like it's not even close.
So
Um,
I've got the list to circle back a little bit. Quarterbacks with multiple Super Bowl wins. Now it's a little outdated because it has Brady at 6, but I don't
that's
think there's
okay.
nobody's been added since that happened.
Yeah.
Tom Brady 6, 7, Joel Montana, Terry Bradshaw, Troy Aikman, Eli and Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, John Elway, Jim Plunkett, Bob Greasy, Roger Staubach, and Bart Starr. Elway,
It's not a
Plunkett,
very
Greasy,
long list.
Staubach, Roethlisberger, Manning, and Starr all have 2. There are 4 guys who have ever won more than 2 Super Bowls.
Yep.
That
And
is
so basically by that
astounding.
already, yeah, Mahomes is top 5 just from Super Bowls alone. Because he's better than all those guys
He
that
is
you
a
listed with
T.
2
Yes,
Super
he's a
Bowls. But
tie for
maybe Peyton
5th.
Manning's in there. But
I would not say he is better than Peyton Manning at this point.
yeah, that's
Um,
very hard to say,
and
especially
I
the
think you
records
could
are
make an
definitely in
argument
Peyton's
for. I
favor.
think you can make an argument for John Elway as well.
If you
I think
want to.
Elway
I think he's
made
the
it to
most
5.
overrated.
Really,
So overrated, dude. So
really. I
overrated. It
think
must
his
be nice
rings
having
are
a
overrated. I think his rings are
absolutely.
overrated. But before that, when he was just grinding out in the AFC and then would just get walloped because the AFC sucked, I think he was a really good quarterback.
He was good. But like I definitely think his legacy gets inflated because of those Super Bowls. And like a lot of that was because of having Terrell Davis and a crazy defense
I mean,
of
hey,
like
this
Steve
is the Michael
Atwater. Like
Jordan effect that we talk about, where if you go out on top and don't come back, your
that's
legacy
how
gets
people look at
inflated.
you.
Yeah, that's how they
Yeah.
remember you. Peyton
No,
Manning,
I know.
right?
Yeah.
And
I'm just trying to just dampen that a bit. That's all. Because when I hear things like John Elway is better than Aaron Rodgers, like I just have to
no, I
laugh.
didn't say
I have
that.
to laugh.
I did not
I'm
say
not
that.
saying he did, but there's people that they are genuinely like, oh, he's better than Favre and Rodgers because like he beat Favre and
Well,
or
I
like
would probably say he's better than Favre. There's a lot of people I would say are better quarterbacks than Brett Favre.
I guess I kind of looped him in there, but I mean,
Yes,
still good talent, man. He was like, and he's one of those guys that like his, I don't say like he's stupid or anything, but his intangibles kind of hurt him a bit. There's just times you can't throw a turnover, and he did. But I mean, he got a pretty great Super Bowl too against the Patriots. Definitely different
yeah.
Patriots than we know,
Favre had
but
about a 3-year stretch where he was like
he was good. He's NFL
elite.
MVP.
Yeah, MVP, and just an elite quarterback. And every other year was above average. Some below average years as well.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's. You gave. I think I agree. I mean, Mahomes. I think he's fringe top 5 at worst. He wins the second ring here with his second MVP. I don't not putting him over Peyton Manning, not putting him over Montana, but definitely over Aikman and Bradshaw, and probably
yeah,
Eli.
yep, definitely.
Rogers is somebody who's got 1 ring. Rogers and Breeze. I'm going to loop them together. I think you can still make the case. against Mahomes for now.
For now.
Give it another
Yeah.
year, maybe not. But I do want to add this or flip the script. Let's say they lose, right? Mahomes is the biggest name in this game, so we'll start there. What does this mean for Mahomes? It's now 1-3 or 1-2
It
in the Super
shouldn't
Bowl.
hurt him, man. It shouldn't. He's already in his third Super Bowl in like 5 or 6 years in the league.
It
Like
might not hurt
this
him.
is what bothers me,
It
and it
might not. No,
really bothers
let
me.
me say what I'm going to say first. Then
Okay. Okay.
it might not hurt him in the sense comparing him to all the guys we previously mentioned, except one, and that's
Yeah, if
Brady.
he's chasing Brady, yeah. Like if he's chasing like unreachable standards, it's gonna hurt that quest. I think if he still gets to 5 or 6, it's gonna be a conversation as well. We're
Okay,
still down
okay,
that
pump
far in
into
the
five.
road.
That means he would have to get back to at least four more.
But he's still in his prime. His team just took a step back. Like they're still gonna make upgrades. They have young guys. Like I'm saying, like this isn't over. Like if they lose, they could be right back next year.
I think
That's
this
why I
game.
don't think it's a
I'm going to
huge
be
deal.
honest. I think this game matters a lot for Mahomes. There's no guarantee you ever get back. While I think that the Chiefs are likely to get back in his career, if he's behind 500 in the big game, that's damaging in my opinion. The same way that people look at Rodgers' NFC championships.
That's because it's the NFC Championship. It's not the Super Bowl. I feel like getting to like you're the best team in your conference and you lose by a field. I gotta understand the
Hey,
Buccaneers like
let me
look really
ask you this,
close.
man. Is Jim Kelly? We mentioned Jim Kelly once today.
No, but he's a Hall of Fame quarterback,
Yeah, but he's
and
not
he's
what
and
we're
he's definitely
he's
like
not where we're
probably better than like
regarding Mahomes to be. And if he'd have won three of those games, maybe even two of those games, I
right. But like, is
I
that
think he would
fair?
be.
Like we're holding Mahomes to such a high standard right now that like it's terrible if he loses the Super Bowl. Like I still
Well,
think his career trajectory is still going to be one of the best quarterbacks of all time. I don't
yes,
think
that I'm
this
not
changes a
disagreeing.
whole
I'm
lot.
not
That's why I don't
disagreeing
a
with
huge
that,
game. If
but
he was like 35, this would be a bigger deal. He's like 25.
let me say this. If let's go on the tangent of if he loses this game and never gets back.
Yeah, that's a huge deal.
Yeah. So
I
let's
just
just
don't
go
foresee
based
that
on
happening.
okay, but let's say it does.
Okay.
Where does that put him on your list? Top 10 still?
I mean, yeah, it depends again, like records, how many passing yards, touchdowns, it's all speculation. I mean, he's probably gonna end in that Peyton Manning vein. But like even like right now, like he's already got one. Like he's at the end of his career, as long as he just keeps being Patrick Mahomes, he'll be up there. It's just a matter of how many rings is he gonna collect. And I think that's still yet to be seen. I've never seen a guy his team takes that much of a step back offensively. I mean, Tyreek Hill is that's a huge loss. And no matter what people are going to say, it didn't affect them. They still got the number one offense in terms of like ranking, but it's not like come on. That's I've never seen like we saw it happen when Rodgers lost Devontae, and we all know how good he is. Look at Tom Brady, he had 50 touchdowns with Moss. You lose him, he's not going to get 50. I mean, unless yeah, like 45 when he had Mike Evans. Like that cast matters. And for him to already just be in this game again, that's why I'm foreseeing more trips down the road. And that's why like it's a big deal. I just don't think like he should just be like discredited and like, oh, he's never gonna catch Brady because of this game. I hear what you're saying of like Super Bowls are rare, but also a guy like Patrick Mahomes is rare. So was Brady. Not saying he's already Brady level, but like in terms of talent, if he just stays on this trajectory and still keeps his kind of, Andy Reid, Kelsey intact, it's gonna be good, man. For him in terms of just what he's gonna produce by the end of his career, he's still in his prime. I mean, Chiefs got him under contract for like 8 more years, a 10-year
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah. Let's flip
So
the script to the other side now, okay? The Eagles win or lose this game. Do you think they can get back with this roster?
oh yeah, because they haven't had to pay Jalen Hurts yet.
Haven't had
I
to
think that's
pay
huge.
Jalen Hurts. They haven't had to pay Devonta Smith.
Mhm.
And they still got AJ Brown. Here's a list of their free agents next year. Um, Fletcher Cox, Robert Quinn, Brandon Graham, Javon Hargrave, Jason Kelsey, James Bradbury.
Oh
That's
boy.
the Dominican Sue,
But
Linval
that's
Joseph. A lot
it's
of
like half their defense right there.
yeah, but they're also all 32 and up. It's like
Yeah,
um, when it comes
they're
to the
old.
Eagles, their offense, I think, is going to remain extremely dominant no matter what happens in this game. That defense is old. And so it's really a matter of, I think this is yes, it's a must win game. But even more so because of that, they could re sign everybody back and everybody might not be, a lot of guys could regress. Like,
Should be
what
a
I'm saying?
fall off. Right. There
Yeah.
definitely should be a dip. Mm. No,
And
that's a
there
huge deal.
maybe there isn't, but people have mentioned, does Jason Kelsey, if they win this game, retire? I would think that there's actually a pretty good chance with the way the NFC looks right now. They could be right back here next, February, man. They are, if they're that good, right? And this isn't a fluke season, which I believe it's not. I think their roster is that talented. I'm bought in on Jalen Hurts. I'm bought in on their run game, maybe even more so than Jalen Hurts. And they've got an incredible receiving room. You're going to just have to see this defense find a way to get close to where it's been, and they could limp through the NFC next year because there's nobody in it at this point. I'm glad it's so. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to hear that you agree. Eagles could be back.
No doubt. Yeah, I'm not going to take that away from them. You look at the Chiefs, man. Like their defense isn't the end all be all, but like I'm not expecting the Eagles' offense to get worse anytime soon. That whole team is outside of Jason Kelsey is young, and so if they keep ascending, even if that defense takes a step back, like you said, they might be right back here in February.
Yeah,
maybe we get a Super Bowl rematch. That would be great. But nonetheless, are we gonna see another Philly special? Are we gonna see another like
God,
crazy game
see,
changing
okay,
play?
let me ask you this: is Nick Sirianni in his head like thinking that he's gonna have to draw something up to like live up to
Mimic
the
that.
lore of Philly special?
I hope he
Like,
does. I hope it's some like really crazy like
you're not gonna
the
have,
Lions
you
end.
don't have the Nick Foles like storyline here for the Eagles. You don't have that
No,
this time,
no.
you know.
But I'm convinced most teams have like a especially like Andy Reid who's been that like has like a play in their back pocket,
Oh
like all
yeah,
right, we're down, like we need something crazy like spark. Like, let's try this.
yeah.
I don't know what it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be some crazy like pitch back thing. The Bears did something interesting where like Cole Kmet took the snap and then pitched it back to Fields. I know that like Hurts is not going to slide this game unless he's like got a first down, but like he's probably going to be running. And I mean, it's the biggest game of the year. What quarterback's going to slide? So we could see something. We could see something.
Yeah.
It's exciting, man.
Off the
It's good
cuff,
stuff.
let me little off the cuff question, but don't have to put much thought into it. But it's Super Bowl week. Top five Super Bowls you've ever. It could be before you were born. What you believe are your five favorite Super Bowls.
All right, so my favorite was definitely the 2010
Yeah,
one
yeah,
for obvious
saw
reasons.
that one coming.
All right, so I guess number two then would be Favre's in 95. We'll give the three spot to the first Super Bowl. I got Bart Starr.
You're such a
Uh,
clown. You're such a
my
clown.
fourth Super Bowl, definitely that Bart Starr part two.
Super Bowl
Um,
two, back to back champs. Yeah.
and hey, people are like, well, it's a common theme of Packers here. Listen, it is something that we can hold over Vikings fans, Bears fans, Lions fans, heads forever, especially Vikings and Lions who haven't even sniffed a Super Bowl. I guess the Vikings sniffed it back in like the 60s,
Dude,
but
they sniffed more than one. They lost four, bro, in the 70s and 60s.
those purple people eaters got a little full at the end, I guess. But it's and the Lions are just the Lions. The Bears got one, but he's got four. And so that's why obviously that's my 1 through 4. 5, yeah, so this is where for me things get interesting. I like the Steve Young just for the lore, the 6 touchdowns and it's Steve Young is great. Um, so that's probably I will give that tied with 5 just for my own personal opinion. That game wasn't close, so that's why it's like not like solidified at 5. I will go with the Brady. I mean, that comeback was nuts. I'm glad I stuck around and watched it. I have a feeling if it wasn't the Super Bowl, even myself might have turned that off at a certain point. Like that's how, and all of a sudden it just went nuts. And I've never really felt something like that. That's not true, but like that, like rush of adrenaline, like it's up there, man.
I
All
can
right,
only
like it's up
imagine
there.
what it was like to be a Patriots fan that day, man. I can
The roller
only,
coaster of
yeah, I
emotions.
can only imagine. But all right, I'm not gonna do the Packers there. I'm gonna go based off my favorite games to
Your actual
watch.
games. That's fair,
Yeah,
man. That's
yeah.
fair.
The Super Bowl 45 was actually a decent game. But I'm not
Better
gonna
than
put that
people
on the
remember.
list. Um, yeah, number one, I think I'm gonna go Super Bowl 52. There's something about that game, man, with Foles and Philly special that so much offense. It was
Loved it.
ridiculous. 2 is the comeback, Super Bowl 51. Crazy that they're back to back years. 3, I think I'm gonna have to call a crazy audible here, and I'm gonna go 3 and 4 are gonna be another 2 back to back Super Bowls. But 3 is actually gonna be Super Bowl 42 when the
Mm,
Giants knocked off the Patriots because I hated Tom
that was a
Brady
huge deal.
and I did not want the Patriots to go undefeated. And that was a fun game to watch, man. That was talk about a low scoring slugfest that had so much drama towards the end. And then for 4, I'm going Steelers Cardinals the year after that. The James Harrison return
Yeah.
and all that. And you know what?
Antonio
I
Holmes.
thought of another one that probably should be higher, but the Santonio Holmes catch that game was incredible. I still think that James Harrison probably made the best defensive play in Super Bowl history. I really don't. I don't. I can't think of another one that's even close. I'm sure there are way back when, but 5, which arguably 3 to 5 are pretty interchangeable for me. Super Bowl 49 with Malcolm Butler
Mm,
was there was a
that was terrific.
snowstorm that day. I didn't go to a party. I was sitting at home in the basement with my dad. And we were like, man, the stupid Seahawks just stole Super Bowl from the Packers. Like they're gonna win this thing again. This is so dumb. All this stuff. And then it went from like just being mad about it to like, all right, let's see them, win the game. I don't think Brady's gonna have a chance to do this in 20 seconds, right? And just to complete like, what just happened? What just happened? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh! What? Like the magnitude of what was happening. Actually, to this day,
Can
9
feel
years
real.
later, is still like I'm still confused, man. Why didn't the Seahawks run the ball? I still see it
Oh.
in YouTube comment sections. I see it on TikTok where people just go to the most random videos like, man, why didn't the Seahawks run the ball? It's funniest to me. But yeah, there was a stretch there, man. Those I guess the 40s for the Super Bowl, and obviously if maybe I'm too young to remember any good games. I know the McNair game against the Rams had a great finish. I would have to
Yeah.
be Super Bowl 38, I want to say, but there was a stretch there where those were some great games. I mean,
Oh yeah.
and even the
No,
ones
it
that were
was.
mediocre, right? Like the Packers Super Bowl, it was a mediocre game, but it wasn't a bad game by any means.
Mm.
Um,
No, yeah, it was good. I thought it was good. It was 31-26 final or
yeah,
25. Excuse me.
yeah. So I mean, the only
Uh,
bad Super Bowl I remember, I'll flip it to you. In your lifetime, what are the like worst 2 or 3 Super Bowls that we've had?
right off the rip. Uh, Bengals, not Bengals, Broncos, Seahawks was brutal,
I'm
and
so upset.
Rams, Patriots was bad too.
You know what one I want to throw in there? Mahomes
Which one?
Brady. I was
That one
really
wasn't very good either.
disappointed. I
That
was
was very
that
disappointing.
was so hyped up. I was like, dude, this is gonna be sweet. We got Mahomes and
Yeah,
Brady. They're going back and back at 31 to
and we
9.
got that 31-9. Yep, wasn't even. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Actually, yeah, that's definitely for what I've watched. Yeah, I think in that order: Broncos, Seahawks, Patriots, Rams. Chiefs
I would
Buccaneers.
do, yeah, Patriots Rams.
Because at least the Buccaneers
That was
Chiefs was the most competitive. I guess Rams Patriots was competitive, but it was so low scoring. I was like, this stuck. Like it was hard to watch with people. But
should have been the
like,
Saints, man. Should have been the Saints.
yeah, that's a
Yeah,
no pushback
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
Guy got attacked, but no, I'm curious if you had any other ones
Yeah, I mean, when
come
you
to
start to go
mind.
back, there was, I think it was like a 15-year stretch where the NFC won like every year, and they were just blowing out the AFC teams. So like the Boomer Esiason and Bengals, I remember, I know that was bad. The Chargers made it to one and got routed by the Niners.
Jeez.
There's a couple really boring Super Bowls when you go back, through those years. My dad talks about that. He's like, yeah, my entire childhood, the Super Bowl sucked. It was a blowout every single year. And he's like,
Oh,
that's
wow.
why
Yeah, I didn't
he
think
was like,
about
yeah,
that.
that's why we all like championship weekend more, because the NFC championship was the winner of the Super Bowl. Um,
Mm.
I would have loved to have been alive for the Scott Norwood Super Bowl. That that's the only Super Bowl ever
Ah,
lost on a kick. That Super Bowl was won
yeah.
on a kick. But that was, and that was the only Super Bowl that had a kick that won or lost the game, because Vinatieri's were tied.
Mm-hmm.
So
Make a break.
yeah, Super Bowls are fun, man. Last year was a good game. It wasn't crazy, but yeah, the Rams are.
Went down to the wire. That's really all I can ask for is I can tune in all 4 quarters
That's true.
as long as it's competitive. But hey, speaking of fun, we want to run this last fantasy frenzy for
Yeah,
the year.
yeah. Let's do it. And you talk about crazy
Probably our
odds.
worst rosters yet.
Yeah, crazy odds. For those that forgot, we actually tied last week in this as well, which is astonishing, down to the 10th decimal point, or the first decimal point. But yeah, we both had 90.9 points. And so then going back to the divisional week, I won, which means you're going to get the first pick again, which matters in this game a lot because I know who you're going to pick.
Mm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so for those who need a refresher on the standings so far, I am only down by about 70-ish points. So um, probably not going to happen in 1 week, but it is like not impossible. It's not over 100 or something like that. So would have needed to have a good week last week to grow the whatever you call it. But the first pick is yours. The floor is yours. Everybody's available for playoffs, as everybody knows. So who are you picking?
The brother of Jason Kelsey.
I am not surprised at in the slightest. In the slightest.
Surefire, man.
Yeah. So this is where things get a little interesting. They really do. After Travis Kelsey, man, things start to really really fall off, man.
They unravel.
They unravel quickly. And the guy that I like. Let's see. Yeah, I really should have thought this through more, because now I'm thinking of going quarterback, and I don't know. Um, I don't want you to get. Yeah, this is a problem. Okay, you know what? I'm taking Devonta Smith. That's
Hmm.
I'm just gonna trust my gut here. I know he's not the true number one on his team, but I think he's gonna have a good game, man. I kind of like his
Okay.
pick for Super Bowl MVP, but we'll debate that here in a second. So
Okay. I'm gonna go with AJ Brown.
yeah, I figured you would.
Yeah, we'll just hope that one of these guys hits and it's mine. But
Yeah. So I'm gonna follow that up with Patrick Mahomes.
fair.
We can go with the guy that's been there before. So
Okay. Miles Sanders. I'll rip him
interesting.
off the board. RB1.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. Isaiah Pacheco.
Mm. Mm.
He gets a lot of touches.
This is true. This is true. It's gonna be my sleeper pick. No, I need to save him. I'm gonna go with Jerick McKinnon.
All right. All right.
Forgot that there's a flex, man. This is gonna get difficult.
Oh, it's already difficult, man. We are well
Oh
past this is
boy.
going to get difficult. Okay, so that does not leave much for wow. This is getting rough fast. I guess I'll take Juju Smith-Schuster.
Okay. Okay. Wide receiver 2. Give me Kadarius Toney.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him.
All right, I have to do this in case you want him for your flex. So Dallas Goedert to secure that. That is
misplay. I was a miss by me. I should have taken him.
it's that.
Big
I'm telling you right now, if I had been you and had the first pick, those would have been my first two. And that's why I went Smith because I felt like, okay, I'm either getting Brown or he's going to wait on tight end and I come back for Goddard.
That's fair. That's fair. Jeez, this flex play is really like making me pick my brain because I could go not a whole lot of directions with it. You know what? Give me the goal line vulture. I'm taking Boston Scott.
God, no.
I'm just hoping he gets
bad.
a touchdown, man.
This is really bad. All right, I'm gonna take the Eagles defense then.
Still waiting on the flex nuts.
I don't have an RB2, man. I don't have an RB2.
I'll take Mahomes. Or I'm sorry, Hurts.
Yeah.
I'll get my QB. I already kind of know who I want for.
I want to see if Mr. Hilaire is healthy. Yes, because that's where my head is going here. Nope, that is not. Edwards, Hilaire, health status. I don't even know. I actually don't even know who I would pick besides Edwards Hilaire. This is bad, man. He has been activated off IR, placed. Okay. Mecole Hardman is on the list. Okay. Sorry. I'm not sorry because we are so deep that this is.
Yeah, I would just pick like a slot receiver, bro.
Oh. No. Let me grab Kenneth Gainwell, I guess.
Oh. Oh man. 3 Eagles running backs. Oh,
that's where we're at, man.
No.
If Kenneth Gainwell scores a touchdown, man, oh my gosh, that's gonna be
Boston
such
Scott.
garbage.
Go with the Chiefs defense here.
Yeah,
my second to last pick of the season.
Let me follow that up with the flex play of. This is a little bit of a sleeper here, and I'm going off my own script. Let me pull up their depth chart so I can make sure I pronounce his name right. Yeah. Give me Noah Gray as my flex.
Pronounce his name right. I don't want to make a joke, but you know how to read.
Yeah, man. I just want him to remember his name. All right,
that makes more sense. I thought you were gonna say like how Matula will play, and I'm like out of position tight end. But no, we'll go with Jake Elliott. I think the Eagles are gonna kick more field goals.
I would have disagreed. I got the Eagles defense, so I'm taking Harrison Butker. He is playing, right? I would assume.
Yeah. He was active last week.
I hope I didn't just pick a kicker who's not even going to play in the Super Bowl. But
yeah, you can always change it.
That was rough, man. That was rough.
Yeah. 2 teams. Yeah, in fantasy football, it's It's
It's
There's gonna be some
Mahomes.
busts, that's for
I've
sure.
got Mahomes, Pacheco, Gainwell, Smith, Schuster, Goddard, Noah Gray, Harrison Butker in the Eagles defense, and you've got Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, Jerick McKinnon, AJ Brown, Kadarius Toney, Travis Kelsey, Boston Scott, Jake Elliott in the Chiefs defense. Travis Kelsey, he's really the only superstar. AJ Brown maybe, but I took a big risk on Devonta Smith today because you were going to get him on the way back. So, yeah, that's a rough one, but that'll be interesting to check out.
Yeah.
Before we wrap, who are your favorites for Super Bowl MVP outside of the quarterbacks?
Yeah, if it's gonna not be a non-QB, Travis Kelsey definitely comes to mind. I could see a multi-touchdown game. And if it's not gonna be Mahomes, I'd say it's probably my guy. And yeah, it'd have to be some crazy like L'Jarius Sneed gets a pick six or like 100-yard pick, like,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be low scoring. You know, the game's got to go a certain way. But yeah, those are just kind of my notable guys that would.
What about on the Eagles side, assuming they win? They're going on the hypothetical.
I figured you'd have some
Yeah.
insight
Yeah,
on
I
that.
can go. I would
give you the floor.
probably, obviously, Smith and Brown are, the second hand favorites. The other guy that I just could see a game script for, Boston Scott. I could see him just punching up like 3 touchdowns or something like that.
I'm gonna tell you this. If he gets Super Bowl MVP, I'm never playing fantasy football again. I'm just not. Because at this point, like if that's how it's gonna go, I'll just roll the dice for every single pick.
Yeah.
For my draft, for dailies, everything next year. But
could be somebody on the
defensively,
Eagles D line, or
yeah,
Big Play Slay comes to mind as well. If he gets a pick and a half or a pick six or something, it's hard as a defender, man. It's really hard.
I would say Reddick is actually a very good sleeper. If he gets a couple sacks and like gets a pick off Kelsey or something,
yeah,
that's an interesting one.
That's an interesting one.
Name.
It's just it's hard to do it as a
usually
defender,
a QB.
man. Yeah, I mean, this dude James Harrison didn't even win it that year.
Oh yeah, and even Tom Brady gave his Super Bowl card to James White that one year when I thought it should have been James White. He had 3 touchdowns in like the fourth quarter.
Yeah, didn't he have like 15 catches too? It was something.
I mean, the
guy's
nuts. He was really good in big games, but no, it's as the NFL is gonna. I forgot the NFL awards are tonight. That's gonna get the NFL MVP is gonna get crowned, but it's a QB award. So
yeah,
is what it is.
Well,
but no, those are some notable names to place your. No, what's the word for a rather
my take
crazy bet?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like if it's not a QB, like it's gonna be you could win some money.
I've got a feeling about Devonta Smith, man. I don't know. Sometimes you just get that feeling, and you
Antonio Holmes, man. I don't think anyone thought he was gonna be the hero.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we're Hines Ward.
I would have said Cooper Kupp, but people did think that was a possibility. So, yeah. With that being said, be sure to check us out. We'll be back next week with Luke on Wednesday. We're gonna be going, crazy NBA trade deadline. We'll be on a new by Wednesday. We'll have ironed out our new schedule for releases because we're gonna dial it back, obviously, and figure out something new with the off season. So we'll be talking NFL awards and Super Bowl champion next time you hear us talking about football. So thanks for listening, guys. Be sure to check us out on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, the whole shebang, and we'll catch you next time.
Take care.